this is Adam from Bodyweightcoach.com. As you may know, recently our buddy Dr. K put up an awesome post about how to take certain bodyweight exercises and progress them either through adding sophistication to the actual bodyweight exercise or even adding weight in the form of dumbbells to make them more sophisticated or more difficult. Dr. K is really busy, but he knows that a lot of you wrote in or posted on the blog saying you wanted to see these exercises. So he gave me a call and he asked me if I had time to film them, and I said I'd be more than happy to help out. So let's take a look at the first exercise in his progression. It's a burpee with a push-up superset. Okay, so let's just take a look at the exercise first. So that's one rep through the exercise. Basically, if you break it down a little bit, you want to do a normal squat, so you're sending the butt back and down, keeping the back fairly straight, and then tilting forward to bring your hands down onto the mat. Then just a little hop, a little bounciness to kick the legs back, and then we're going to splay them out with a little hop, splay them back in, bring your hands together for a nice triceps emphasized push-up, medium push-up, and then a nice wide one for the pecs. And then you hop back in, straighten out the back by looking up, and then jump up as high as you can get. That's one round, or one rep of your burpee. Now we're going to take a look at a couple lunge variations that Dr. K put together for you. Both of them add a diagonal component to the lunge. First one we're going to look at starts with hands clasped. We're going to bring the hands to one side, keeping the elbows locked out, and as we step back with that same side leg, so I've got my arms to my left, I'm going to step back with my left foot. I've got my arms to the left, step back with my left foot, front knee stays over front foot. As you bring that back knee down to the ground, you're going to come across like a reverse wood chop and then push through the heel of this front leg to bring yourself back to standing. So this is the movement, the whole movement, keeping the core tight, the back vertical throughout the movement. Now the other way that you can do this, and you can alternate back and forth. In fact, Dr. K recommends to do one to one side, change sides, one to the other side. Now the other thing you can do is a Spider-Man diagonal lunge. Okay, it's the same kind of idea where you're looking for that core stability through a twisting exercise, but as you step back and drop that back knee down, front leg over front foot, you're going to take your opposite elbow towards the front knee until you can get it to the outside of the knee. You want to keep your back as long and vertical as you can, and then press through the heel of that front foot back up to standing. Alternate sides. So those are your two lunge options in the Dr. K bodyweight series. Okay, and the last exercise we're going to look at is the squat burst. It's a really cool exercise for tying in that whole functional chain of the upper back and the glutes, and really working on those postural muscles that give you that nice, tall, upright, proud position. Like I said, it's called a squat burst. You want to take a stance a little bit wider than hip width, about 1.5 times hip width, and you can let your toes point out a little bit, 15-20 degrees. You're sending the butt back and down, keeping the back nice and straight. One way to make sure you do that is keeping the chest out, and as you come down, letting these arms cross in front of you. Now from here, I'm just going to do it slowly this time. Usually we're going to totally burst out of here, but you're going to squeeze your glutes, drive your hips up and forward, and that's going to drive your arms up into the Y, okay, like a touchdown position. And you want to let those go as far back as you can, squeezing the muscles of the upper back to help the momentum carry you into that nice Y. So it's down, chest up, burst up. Doing as many of these as you can. Really driving through the glutes, feeling the heels press into the floor with every rep as you burst off the ground and drive the arms into that Y. Okay, now that we've got the basic exercises down, let's look at a couple ways that we can progress two of those exercises. First one's going to be the burpee with the push-up superset. Perhaps one of the most interesting ways to add some difficulty to that is just to add some light dumbbells. I've got a couple 10-pounders here. Basically what we're going to do is the exact same movement but with dumbbells in our hands. So squat down and back, kick the legs back, out, back in, do my close set, my medium rep, my wide rep, up the feet back in, and we'll just jump with the weights at our side like a suitcase. Okay, another time, out and back, narrow, medium, wide. Now, what we can do, either keeping the dumbbells or getting rid of them, is next variation, get rid of the hop out and just do the push-up superset. Okay, you can do that with or without the dumbbells. Okay, the other thing you can do is get rid of the superset and just do the straight donkey kicks, or with the wide stance at the end of the donkey kick. And that's going to give you a bit more of a cardio effect, because it brings the intensity of the cardio up a little bit. And the final thing we can do with dumbbells, which is really cool, is instead of the push-up, we're going to add what's called a renegade row. So same butt, down and back, up, out, back in, and instead of a push-up, row, row. Okay, now a couple of things with this. As you row, you don't want to turn your hip over. Okay, keeping your hips facing the floor. If it's difficult for you, if you need more core stability, you can widen the legs out. So when you do that hop, just don't come back in as far. Row up to bottom of the rib cage on one side, the other, and do your jump. Okay, so those are a few different variations you can do on that burpee with push-up or burpee with row. Okay, now let's take a look at how we can progress on that lunge series. First thing we're going to do is grab a slightly heavier dumbbell, holding it like a goblet. Elbows in, hands tight to the chest, shoulders back and down. We're going to start with that rear lunge, same mechanics as we were working on before. Once you're comfortable with the rear lunge, stepping forward, always driving through the heel of that front foot. And then once you're comfortable with that, we're going to add a rotational element to it. So as you step back with one leg, you're twisting in the opposite direction with the upper body, staying nice and tight in the core, back upright, back vertical, and switching sides. Once you feel comfortable with holding the weight like a goblet, you can actually take two weights, one on each side. It's going to require a little bit more stabilization, and go through that same series. So we've got reverse lunges, we've got forward lunges, and we've got the lunge with the rotational element to it. Now, once you feel comfortable with that, you can even add a little bit more core stabilization to it by going through the same series, but just holding a dumbbell in one hand. So it requires a little bit more dynamic stabilization from the core. Just make sure that you switch often enough that you're doing the same amount of work on either side. So we're doing the rear lunge, we're doing the forward lunges, and we're doing the same rotational lunges. Make sure that you have enough width in your lunge stance that you're stable as you perform that rotational movement. Now, once you're good with that, you can actually add in that wood chopper movement, but with weight. So you'll remember we had our hands clasped to one side. We're going to do the same thing, but holding a weight in either hand. So we've got both hands to one side. As we step back with that same side leg, we're reverse chopping up and across, keeping the core tight, back upright, change sides, change sides. Okay, and then the last thing you can do, and let's get into some pretty advanced stuff. The last thing you can do is that Spider-Man lunge, but with a weight in one hand. Okay, so again, adding a requirement of core stability by holding a unilateral weight. So as we step back with one leg, we're twisting and bringing the elbow of the opposite side to the outside of the knee. And then change sides, keeping that back as upright and long and straight as possible as we go from side to side. So that's an example of how we can progress through that lunge series just by adding some dumbbells to give it a little bit more sophistication or difficulty. Hey, hope you enjoyed that series of bodyweight exercises and dumbbell progressions put together by Dr. K. Until next time, this is Adam Steer from bodyweightcoach.com.